It's time for the Northwoods Cooking Show. Starring Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog. Welcome to the Northwoods Cooking Show. I'm your host, Uncle Roy, and my lovely assistant, Miss Callie O'Allie. Oh, Callie O'Allie! Oh, Callie O'Allie! Here, Miss Callie O'Allie. As you can tell, it's our St. Patrick's Day show. And here she comes, the lovely assistant. Oh, come over here, Callie O'Allie, get in positions. Oh. Get your blingo going. Go ahead and sit quick. Ooh. Oh, you're shaking hard. Yeah, get light up your blings. Okay, I'll sit quick. Oh, yeah. This is your treat? Yeah. She's got little bottles on here. Just kiss me on my face. Okay, she got her treat now. She's going to go lay down. Well, in today's episode, we've done so many things before in St. Patty's Day, and some people have asked to repeat again. So we are going to take and do corned beef and cabbage, but I got some other different desserts and treats to make later on. But last year we did the corned beef and cabbage in the crock pot, which is so simple. You just throw it in your pot and there you go. So when you come home from dinner, it's all ready to go for you. But we're going to do this the traditional way and just throw it in the oven. And what we need to do is do our corned beef separate from the vegetables, because the corned beef takes a long time to cook, and if you put your vegetables in it all at the same time, you're going to have mushy vegetables when it's all done. So we make sure you spray your pot, and then we just put our brisket right in here. Now you want to take and save the juices that are in this brisket in the bag and put those right into the pot, because they add a lot of flavor to the brisket. And you don't have to put a lot of anything else in there. That's it. You want to put this with the fat side up. And if you purchase one that has a lot of fat, like if you just bought it rather in the bag, you bought it this whole, you want to make sure you cut off most of that fat, because it will take and shrivel up on you. The corned beef briskets they disintegrate to like about a third of what you actually have. So you want to make sure you want to cut off all that excess fat that you have on there, if it's a large amount, because that's just going to add a lot of grease to your brisket. Then most of them come with little packets, and if you don't have a packet, it's very simple to come up with your own seasoning. This one didn't have one in it. So, the easiest way is to take and just sprinkle it with pickling spice. And this has a combination of your whole allspice, bay leaves, mustard seed, everything that you needed for your brisket. I like the flavors of these, the tenderizing of this too. It makes it nice. And we'll just pat that on. And then we just put water in there, and you don't want to cover it completely, but you want a good inch of water on the bottom at least. And for the brisket, let's put this in the oven. And don't forget to spray the lid too, because that always gets real dirty to it around the lip. It just makes cleaning much easier is all. And then we'll put this in the oven, and a brisket takes about 50 minutes per pound. And so I got a 3-pounder, so this is gonna take about 2.5 hours. And corned beef briskets do take a long time to tenderize, to cook, because it's a brisket, so it's a tough piece of meat. So you want to cook it for a long time. You want to cook it until it's fork tender. So if you have all the vegetables in there, definitely will get mushy. So we'll just put those in a separate pot. And then we'll just put this in the oven, and then we'll be ready in about 2.5 hours. So now while that's cooking, I can get my vegetables prepped up, and I don't have to turn them on until like the last 20 minutes or so of the brisket cooking. So we got 2.5 hours. This will be ready for noon. So now when you cut your cabbage, don't decore it. You want to leave that core attached to your segments, because that holds the cabbage leaves all together and they don't disintegrate on you. So this is a large cabbage, so I was able to cut it into 6 pieces. And this we can just put into our pot, and we'll just cover this with water. And then when it comes time to cook, we can just turn this on later on. And that'll be for our cabbage. And then you can do whatever other vegetables you want. You put in parsnips or rutabagas. Any of your root vegetables are really good. I happen to have carrots, onions, and potatoes. And I got the red skin potatoes. That way you don't have to peel them, you can just put them right in the pot. Makes a nice flavor and color too. So we can just put these in a separate pot, and those will be ready then for the brisket when it gets done. And then this is our corned beef and cabbage dinner. You can tell we got the corned beef here and the cabbage. And remember now to make these vegetables last 20 minutes of the corned beef that is baking. Otherwise, if you cook these all together, it's going to be very mushy. So these are just turning out just nice and firm, but yet soft and tender to the bite. And then you can just put a little salt and pepper, a little butter to your own taste, and enjoy. So happy St. Patty's Day from Miss Callie O'Allie and myself. Okay, now while the corned beef brisket is baking, we'll make a dessert. And this is going to be an Irish cream dream cake. And this is very easy to make too. What we're going to do first though is spray our bundt pan. We want to make sure to spray that good so it doesn't stick. And don't forget the inner part either. The inside don't stick. It's so easy to forget. Then what we're going to do is pour in 1 cup of chopped nuts to go in the bottom of the pan. And for the mix we use 1 cake mix, and I've got the yellow. You could use a chocolate if you wanted to, but I'm doing the yellow so that we can get a lighter color, and the Irish cream is going to color it a little more of a milk chocolatey. So we need the 1 cake mix, and this has pudding in the box, in the mix. So then we just need 3 eggs. If you don't have pudding in the mix, then adjust your recipe to 4 eggs and to ½ a cup of oil. But since we have pudding in the mix, plus then you want to put in 1 small box of instant pudding. But this already has pudding in the mix, so we don't need to. And we just have the cake mix plus 3 eggs then, instead of 4. And then we reduce the oil from 1/2 cup to 1/3 cup. You want to do less since we already have the pudding in the mix. Then we also put in a ½ cup of water. And along with this, we put in a ½ cup of your Irish cream. Now we just mix this up for like 2 to 3 minutes. Just do 30 seconds at first to moisten everything. Because, you know, the dryness of the mix doesn't go flying all over the place. And then we'll just put this on medium and let it mix for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's all moist and thoroughly incorporated. And then we can just lay that into our pan. So right back in a couple minutes. Okay, now that this is all thoroughly mixed, we can take and pour this into our pan. Remember, we have the 1 cup of nuts on the bottom there. And we'll just scrape off the beater here a little bit. Ooh, Callie O'Allie is oozy goozy. And then we'll just fill up our pan. Now with all your bundt pans, 1 cake mix is just perfect to the filling size. But you got to remember too, now when you put in your additives, whether it be this one or even other cakes that you take and fix and doctor up, you want to be careful not to overfill them with your batter, even though you got all the ingredients mixed in. Because if you go over at least you want it a half full to about 2/3 at the most. Because if you put in too much of the batter, you know it's going to overflow, and then you're going to have a huge mess in your oven. Sometimes it's even best to even put it on top of a baking sheet just in case it should happen to overflow. And then we just take and tap this down. And then we'll put this into the oven until it's done. When the toothpick inserted comes out clean. And with bundt pans, that's usually about 45 minutes. Some recipes might say hour. This recipe said 1.5 hours, and there's no way that's going to cook that long, because I've had experience with bundt cakes. You want to test it out after about 45 minutes and check your cake to see if it is done. Then when this is done, we'll just take it out and let it cool on a rack for about 10 minutes, and then we can take and invert it onto the serving platter, and then we'll frost it with a glaze that I have, which incorporates more Irish cream into that. So we'll be right back when that's all ready. Okay, now Now our cake is all done. And we're gonna take and just, like a poke cake, just poke some holes in here every so often. And we're gonna be making this glaze filling, and we're gonna pour some into the holes around here. And then I'm gonna invert it on top of a plate, and then we can pour more over the top. And this does make a large batch of sauce, so you can just save, you don't have to pour all of it on top. You can save some and pour some on individual slices as you cut and serve. But for the sauce now, we need a ½ cup of butter, which is a stick. We're gonna melt that right into the pot here. Along with a ¼ cup of water. And a cup of sugar. And a ½ cup of bay leaves. And we're going to let this come to a boil, and then when it boils, we're going to let it cook for 5 minutes while it's still boiling. And this will be our sauce. So we'll come right back when this is all done boiling. Okay, now this is our sauce, and we're just going to pour some of this into the top here, into all these little holes that we got. And if you miss it, that's okay. It's just going to soak it up. Because now, is that ever good? We're going to invert this onto the plate. And my plate's a little bit on the concave side so that it will collect that sauce anyway. And, ooh, that looks pretty. You can take a fork and just slightly poke holes in on the top here. We're going to basically do the same thing. And you can just drizzle some on the top so that this starts to soak into the cake itself. Now you don't have to put all of this on. What you can do is save it as you slice and just drizzle some more onto each individual slice. This gets to be quite a mess if you pour all of this on. It's very rich and really, really good. So this is our Irish cream dream cake. You cut into a piece, Callie O'Allie? Oh. So this is our lovely St. Patrick's Day dinner. We have the corned beef and cabbage, the Irish cream dream cake, and I'm just going to put on a final little drizzle on top of the cake like that. Ooh. So from Callie O'Allie and myself, happy St. Patrick's Day. Ready, Cal? Oh, oh. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Our little trip into St. Paddy's Day, where we did the corned beef and the Irish dream cake, which was absolutely wonderful. Oh, God, this is rich. I need a couple of units of my insulin to eat this one. But anyway, Callie, let's see who wrote us this week.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, Miss Callie O'Allie's. Oh, yeah. Oh, we gotta get your bling blinking. Oh, we gotta blink your blings. Blink your blings. Oh, there you go. Oh, blink your blings. Hello. You're cute. Oh, what are the questions? Dear Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, I just bought a box of penne and I was wondering how long do I cook it in order to serve for dinner? Signed, Jesse of Maple Grove, Minnesota. Hi, Jesse, thank you. Yeah, pasta is, there's usually at different times for different types of pastas. Like your angel hair, which is real thin, is only 3 minutes. Lasagna, your thicker ones are like 10 to 12 minutes. But on your penne and most of your noodly type of pastas, you want to go for your al dente, which is anywhere from about 8 to 10 minutes. There's a variation in there depending upon the thickness and the size of the pasta. So I would go for about 8 minutes. Then just take your spoon and pick out a piece, blow it off because it would be really hot, and bite into it. And you can taste it then, the firmness to it when you bite into it. If it's really hard, let it go a little bit longer. If it's too mushy, well, then you overcooked it. So you must have had a thinner pasta. But approximately 8 minutes is your general rule for like elbows, penne, farfalle, all those other types of pastas that are in your shapes. We hope that answered your questions. And then when you get done with it, if you're going to serve it into like a hot dish, rinse it off under hot water to get rid of all that excess starches. If you're going to do something cold, like a macaroni salad, rinse it off in cold water to get rid of those starches, and that will chill down the pasta so that you can make your salad then out of it. So you want to rinse off in hot water if you want to keep it hot, cold water if you want to make a cold pasta salad or something like that. So I hope that answers your questions, about 8 minutes. And from Miss Callie O'Allie and myself, we want to say healthy eating, be safe, and spread the sunshine. Say goodbye, Callie. Oh, bye-bye.